have to tell you, Mr. Bankman-Fried, I'm fascinated by this. I think it's a really interesting idea. You sure got everybody stirred up, and they hate it. They hate this idea. I mean, understandably, because of what it might do to their businesses, but they're also concerned about whether it blows up their business model or just the world economy, and that's where we come in, I think. So, I mean, clearing disintermediated margin derivative trades directly to retail customers. That's a subject comes up a lot at my town hall meetings. And dynamically setting margin levels and auto liquidation and transparent models. I mean, it's actually a really cool idea. So I really commend you on it, and I really want to understand it more. And I am completely agnostic about it. Help me understand the auto liquidation point that Mr. Duffy's making.
Yeah, so I can tell you how I see it. Obviously, different people have different viewpoints on it. But the way I see it, you have some user that's put on a position. There is some collateral for that position. In our case, it is held transparently with the clearinghouse. And at some point, if markets moved far enough against that position, they would be out of collateral. And at that point, the position, in our model, has to be closed down. Because otherwise, they would be more than out of collateral. Their account would be net negative. There are a few options for what you could do there with different risk models. One thing that you could do is have a recourse-based risk model where you let them keep the position open and then go after their house. If it gets negative enough, that is not what we intend to do. We intend to instead deleverage the positions if they're out of collateral. But on the point of the speed and of the risk engine, right, of whether you're liquidating quickly or whether you're waiting a few days. If you wait a few days to do it, you have a choice between either beginning a margin call liquidation way earlier than may be necessary in case markets move against that position over the next few days, or waiting until a position is almost underwater and might be way beyond bankrupt by the time you could finish that liquidation, leading to scenarios like what we saw with LME. Yeah. The advantage of the real-time one is that you can actually precisely measure where a position is, wait to liquidate until the last moments that you preserve the positions if at all possible, while still protecting against systemic risk.
I believe that there should be a formal rulemaking process at the Commodity Futures Trading Commission where everybody gets to participate in that process, and do not make this just about crypto. Make it about market structure. That's what I'm here to discuss. And on that proposal of auto liquidation, so one of the things that FTX does not tell you, or this committee, is what they do for collateral. When I take on collateral, whatever form it may be, cash, treasuries, gold, whatever I have a mix of, we have to haircut that at a certain value. Their haircut on their collateral for Bitcoin is 5%. Their margin to trade Bitcoin is 15% of margin. This auto liquidator will be going with smoke coming out of it at those price levels. That is the problem with this application, and you need to hear the whole truth about this. Several times in my testimony, in my hearing, here's the way it's going to play out. Again, it's a market structure change when you go to a direct model that FTX's proposal is asking for. When that's deployed against other asset classes, the participants are not crypto participants. They're farmers, ranchers. They're producing oil. They're writing mortgages. Every of the products that I trade. So I've been through that. They are not prepared, in my opinion, for this type of model today, because the auto liquidator that is being proposed is something that will be unsuspecting to the client. Now, he can talk about the margin that he has and the collateral that he has, but the bottom line is people at my institution, as I've said, have margin from CME, then they have additional margin from their clearing firms. So those clearing firms are in touch with their clients. And if, in fact, they touch certain levels, they get calls, and they determine either put up more money or we're going to take you out of the market. So an auto liquidator is not revolutionary new technology by any stretch of the imagination. But the way they do it is differently. But when you deploy that and you have to keep these markets open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, against agribusinesses and others, I think it could be extremely detrimental in a time where, not only the time that we're living in now, but going forward for the food industry going forward, they need risk management tools. They don't need casinos to do risk management. Well, Mr. Bankman-Fried has continually said that it would be up to the commission to do this, but in the same time, he has said that his body over and over again, he has not eliminated, when Mr. Scott pressed him, would he not deploy this model into other asset classes, which he would, and if he doesn't, others will, because it's a cheap model to do, because the oversight goes down. Secondly, on your first question about what's a cryptocurrency worth, if it goes down, it's worth zero. If corn goes to a certain price, you have an ear of corn. That's as simple as it comes. You have nothing when you have cryptocurrency goes to zero. The risk of this going into other markets is extremely detrimental. We have two countries fighting each other right now. And I thank the gentleman for his service at the end of the table. We have two countries fighting that have a third of the wheat production that's going to be off the market. Don't worry about other products. You better worry. The questions that need to be worried about, are we all going to be able to eat? And we need to have sound, prudent risk management. And I cannot be forced into a model, but I will have no choice to deploy if, in fact, the CFTC goes down this path, because I will deploy it, because somebody else will. I have a fiduciary obligation to my shareholders and my clients to do certain things, and I will have no choice. Otherwise, I will be out of business. This is a proposal that's fraught with danger, and I've outlined that in my testimony. The application that's been put forth to the CFTC is completely different than some of the comments that are being said at this panel today. So I can only comment on what's out there. He is not eliminated from other asset classes from his application, to be clear. Have either FTX or somebody else competing in the asset classes that I'm trying to provide liquidity and risk management for across the board. And that includes every single commodity known to man: wheat, corn, soybeans, right across the board, energy, natural gas, mortgages, foreign exchange, equity futures, everything.
Which affects my farmers in my district.
It will affect every farmer, because they will have to be up, as Mr. Edmonds said earlier in his testimony, at 1 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, finding out that they just lost their hedge on their crop that they already have in the ground. Why? Because they got auto liquidated.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of the huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. We will, and if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and you know, when the dealers have to step in to save a Treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And guys, please like and subscribe if you do like what you're listening to. Please inform your friends and family and spread it all over social media. It is imperative that we get back to learning finances and understand how the world really works, because once we understand how the world really works, we understand that it is all planned out. Now, I want to thank those who purchased the books Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book. Remember, the New World Order book shows you how the world really works, and it is definitely time for you to wake up out of that sleep, especially in the times that we're in right now. And 2024 is going to be one of our most entertaining years. We have the presidential election. We have the drums are beating. We have the emerging markets going to be flipping the switch on the fourth industrial revolution. And they finally start to cut rates. And we know Japan is going to start raising rates. And those trillions of dollars that are sitting in money market accounts are going to start flowing over to the emerging markets. And we know the master magicians are about to set up that distraction so they can cut rates while we still have inflation. And in the fourth quarter, once the election is over, the movie begins. And also, guys, I want to thank those who purchased the 3 Kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, much love to those who donate to the Cash App, Patreon. Much love. Keep it coming. Guys, if you're not a part of the Patreon, make sure you're donating to the channel through the actual Cash App. But guys, this next Bitcoin and crypto bull run is going to be a utility run. So you want to make sure you have the cryptos that have real utility. And much love to those who are shopping at both stores. Keep it coming. And of course, guys, we get into Bitcoin and cryptos first.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And right now we have Bitcoin and crypto making a slight move up. Don't forget we have CME opening tonight. It'll move the market. And then, of course, in the morning, once yield rates get to moving, we know it's going to move the market again. Now, CME volume and open interest has definitely been high. But going towards the end of the month, we know that drops. And then also this week, we have futures contracts ending. So we know we're going to have a pullback. I don't see a big pullback just because, again, it's election time. But this week will definitely be a roller coaster ride. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. Now, we have Bitcoin is about 7% away from an all-time new high. Do I see us hitting that this year? Yes, unless we get some type of geopolitical event. Because if we have the Fed cutting interest rates and the other central banks cutting rates, it's definitely going to put more liquidity into the system. But at the same time, if we get a geopolitical event, especially after the election, we may not get that expected pump. So the only thing we have to do is make sure we're keeping an eye out. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. Now, make sure you're paying attention to the actual indicators. On Friday, we had yield rates down. We had the dollar slightly down. Right now in crypto, we have volume in crypto down. We have Tether and USDC. And we have Tether surpasses $120 billion market cap. And we know they've definitely been helping out the Fed buying these treasuries. And then, of course, guys, we have the Fed. Repo at $259 billion. Make sure you're pulling it on a daily basis during the week. And we have central banks now in lockstep and a rate cutting cycle. But remember, guys, inflation is still here. And what's that's going to do? That's going to destroy this legacy market. Every sector that we're accustomed to watching and seeing, and we know how it works, is being broken up. And every time we turn around, the fix is AI and these machines. Remember, the NWO caused the problem, wait for the reaction, and run in with the solution. And remember, crypto is definitely going to be used for the destruction of these small and medium-sized banks. And then, of course, that's going to hit the small and medium-sized businesses. And then we get mass layoffs. But, of course, the solution is the robots, algorithms, and drones taking this economy over. But at the same time, they have something for the people. Remember, they've already ran the simulation, passed out that free money, and it'll keep them quiet. And so they don't get bored, they'll give them that free bread and circus, and that's inside the metaverse. But little do the people know, that money is going to be programmable, telling you what, where, and when and how to buy. And you have 3 to 6 months to spend it, or poof, it's gone. And inside the metaverse, they'll be able to download you. So if they can download you, they'll definitely be able to delete you. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. I know it sounds like a movie, but remember, your life is an illusion, and TV is your reality. Now, we had the Bitcoin and Ethereum spot ETFs, BlackRock, Fidelity, and Grayscale. Bitcoin and Ethereum spot ETFs on Friday were up. Now, getting over into a little crypto news. And of course, I went over this yesterday, but I just want to put this in perspective. Listening to the bank man, I told you exactly what was going to happen. I told you they was going to come back to this. The bank man, of course, was a simulation. The same way the C word was a simulation for this whole economy and how the masses would act. Now, with the bank man, he had a regulated exchange with the CFTC called LedgerX. So he was meeting with the CFTC on this derivatives exchange. And of course, it was starting with Bitcoin and crypto first. The same thing BlackRock wants to use the Bitrue token as collateral with these exchanges. But we know it's going to move over to the rest of the legacy market. And BlackRock can move fast because they're already regulated. And this technology has already been tested and proven that it works. But the problem is when you take this technology to retail and they're not fully educated, you'll be able to take them for everything. Remember, don't forget, Bush Jr. wanted to hand the people their Social Security and let them be in control of it and put it in the stock market. And guys, we know a few years later, the stock market crashes, and that means they would have lost their whole retirement. If you're not fully educated, you'll end up owning nothing, but they still want you to be happy. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. But that's all I have for you. Don't forget about the books, Crypto Teacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate. Not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID Stories 3. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.